What's up, guys? It's Talon. Today I'm going to be coaching a Garen player who's currently Emerald 1. The quality at times in this video is not optimal, so I apologize for that, but I still feel this coaching going to be valuable for some of the lower elo top laners to learn some good information on split pushing and kind of the basic fundamentals around split pushing and when to rotate, etc. So if you guys are interested in coaching, it's $15 for an hour. You can DM me on Discord or Twitter. The links are below. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you later. The goals of the champions. So like in this matchup, like what are the goals of Sett versus Garen in your opinion? Like what do you feel?
I know Sett wants an extended trade for his W.
Yeah.
And I
So
feel
you
like
want to
Garen
deny
just
that, so you want a short trade, obviously, so you just queue and then run away or something.
okay. I started W. No, I started E rather because I know it's a non-targeted ability. I thought that would be good for like trading in the minion wave, but
I
in
mean,
hindsight, I probably should have taken Q first.
I'm not 100% sure. Again, I don't play Garen, so I'm not like test all these things. But again, we said our goal is short trades. E is gonna make us trade for longer, so the Q is probably better for short trades. So yeah, probably Q. But I'm sure E's like fine. It's not that bad either. But yeah, not only that, but like Sett can split push pretty fast, but he's also like you're good at matching people even when you're behind as Garen. Like if you just buy Hullbreaker, anytime someone gets ahead of you, they can't kill you unless you're like 3,000 gold behind, basically. So yeah, I mean, this is what happens in the end. The trade goes bad because we trade for too long, so then his shield gets... So yeah, basically we knew what would happen if we actually like thought about this right before the lane. You would have, without me even needing to say anything, if you just thought about what he wants, you would have came to the conclusion without me even like saying anything. So just try asking yourself those questions before you play. And then, so yeah, like we're mostly fine with Garen split push or with Sett split pushing, but we as Garen like to split push, so it's okay to just 1v1 him if we see that opportunity. But if you end up thinking that you can win the like help your team win the team fight, it's also fine to rotate. So it kind of just depends on the game for Garen. So we'll kind of see based on what happens.
So here I kind of catch on a little bit.
Yeah, you just start queuing and then running away, which is good.
Yeah.
And then if he ever wastes his shield, like this is when you want to trade with him as well. So like if he uses shield here, he might kill you, honestly. Yeah, you would die. But if a Garen ever like wastes their shield and doesn't get a lot of value out of it, like you really want to trade heavily with them when it's on cooldown or something. But
yeah,
you're just like trading too hard after already losing the trade. So like that was the main thing. But also your jungler's not here, so trading so heavily is also not good. Like if your jungler was here, then it would be good to like trade this aggressively, but without your jungler near your side of the map, it's just pretty likely that you're gonna get ganked, and Pantheon's a champion who ganks a lot. Obviously now we see him, but we didn't know that before, so. And then this wave is gonna start pushing, or it's gonna freeze actually, never mind. So like you can just keep it frozen on your side of the map. So like I wouldn't really move here. Like you're slowly just gaining health from, I don't know if you have second wind, but you're passive.
Yeah,
so yeah. Okay, also like you could run to the right when he pulls you in and W's you.
Yeah.
Just to try to avoid the true damage, but yeah, if he gets level 5, you pretty much just die here. So I mean, you probably just have to back at this point, which you do. I would just, I don't know, maybe you're fine. I think you're probably fine, but you just have to sit under tower. Like I don't think you can really trade. Again, you don't exactly know where the jungler is, plus it's Pantheon, so he can hold on to you pretty easily, and your jungler's still not here, so I would just be farming under tower at this point. Like yeah, since like the early lane goes bad, like you just have to be okay with just farming for the whole lane and just going even. You keep walking into his trades too, which is like he should have won that trade, but you can't be walking in to get, I think it's his E, right? But
yeah, the phase breaker, whatever.
Yeah, that's just like a spacing issue. So just kind of the more you play, you just got to be more aware of the range. But now your wave is starting to push into him, and you don't want this wave to be pushing for like too long. So I would just be crashing the wave as fast as possible. So instead of trading with him like this, I would just be spinning on the turret or on the minions and trying to kill them. No, I don't know what just happened there, but like when you were trading with him, you could have tried to push the minions like faster so that you can eventually get a recall, because your goal is to recall, so you want the wave to start pushing quickly. But instead you like trade really aggressively with him. Like you could have just spun on the wave and then just like backed out after instead of doing this.
Okay. I thought, because Actually, I don't even remember what I was thinking in that situation.
I mean, you just seem to want to
Well,
trade with him a lot. Like,
yeah.
also, neither jungler has been on your guys' side of the map ever. They've been top side for so long.
For a while, yeah. I think I even typed that in chat at some point.
I mean, it's fine. Like, you have to learn how to play it. Like, Garen's good at playing without jungler. You don't need your jungler to be near you, so it's perfectly fine. Again, now we're at like 410, 415, so we want to shove the wave. We don't want to be trading super heavily. We want the wave to start, like, no matter what situation you're in, you almost always want to push the wave before an objective, because you have two options. If you push the wave, it's either you go for turret, so if you're pushing the wave, you're threatening that you can go for the turret, so they have to either give up minions and turret, or they have to, like, just stay and match you, so that they have no good option. So again, yeah, your goal should be shoving it like you are. And then you, because of this, can either rotate, or you can split push. Since he's matching you, I would probably just back if you have an item, and then I would just go rotate and try to help my team in a fight here. Instead, it looks like you decide you want to keep split pushing, which you have enough gold for. No, you don't, because you bought boots. So you don't have enough gold for Hullbreaker, which I think is your item. If you're buying Hullbreaker, then it's probably fine to just split push, but...
Yeah, I think I end up staying with him here.
So, okay, also, looking at this game, you're down so much already. Like, if you're down 3k golds, in my opinion, I wouldn't identify this game as like a win condition for me split pushing, because you're not really winning the 1v1 super hard, and
yeah,
that's pretty good at
I
matching
get
you
outplayed.
generally.
Yeah.
So I would just like, I would decide to lose the game / win the game here, where I would just leave my lane and just hope that we hard win the team fight at Dragon. Otherwise, the game's going to be lost, because already that's going to match you fine no matter what. You're not really winning the 1v1. There's not much going on, and your team is hard losing. So I would just try to rotate to the Dragon. Like, there was like 30 or 40, 50 seconds before when your team started fighting. If you were, you already pushed your wave, and you could have just rotated and given Set some of the turret, and it would have been fine, because he didn't have a super big wave, so he probably wouldn't have even killed the full turret, or it would have taken him forever. So.
Oh, okay.
So it's like,
I see what
that's
you mean.
not necessarily
In my head.
Yeah, go ahead.
In my head, Set kind of wants to team fight because he can ult key targets. So I was trying to see if I could just outlast him, like, until he got bored, kind of, like in lane.
No, you would prefer, like, you're correct. That would be better in team fights, and Garen is better in split pushing, and you're building Hullbreaker, so you're going to want to be playing side lane. But in this game specifically, the game is already basically a guaranteed loss. Just looking at the gold and the kills, like, you should just be assessing that. You should be like, we're down, but we're not down so much that an entire another person can't impact the fight. So Set's based on the fact that he's currently clearing the wave and he's currently there, and you'd already shoved the wave, so he has like not a big wave to push to get the turret. You can take that opportunity to possibly try to win the game by just going to the team fight and getting your team back into the game. And if that doesn't work, then you're just going to lose. And also, looking at your team comp is another important thing. You have Draven, Pyke, Caitlyn. These are all early game champions. They're not going to scale. So the longer the game goes, it's not better for you. So all you can do on a side lane is get a small lead, which you probably won't even get based on how the 1v1's gone. So you should kind of like hinge all your bets just on winning that one fight, or else the game's just going to be over. So again, I think you're right in terms of your typical thought process in wanting to just stay on the side lane against a Set. But it's just like, for this game, because it was already so dire, you just have to make some type of play, or else you're just going to draw the game out.
So ordinarily it would have been a good idea, but just in this particular case, I would have to
so there's different
somewhere else.
I'll try to explain to you how you can actually determine this, because there's going to be more cases like this with slightly different scenarios. And it's basically, one is, what does split pushing do for you? It's you very, very rarely you're going to win the game by taking their Nexus, like with split pushing.
Yeah.
So the actual goal of split pushing, and also I did make a video on this, just like if you are curious to like check that out, but the goal of split pushing is get yourself gold or draw people to you. So if you want to get gold, it's because you want to later be able to draw people to you in the side lane. So your goal early game, get gold under yourself by split pushing and getting turrets, so that later on in the game you can draw people to you. And then the reason you're drawing people to you is so that your team can take objectives and you can stall the game long enough to get to a point where either your team is strong enough to win the team fights, or you're strong enough to draw two people on the side lane, and then you're gonna win.
Yeah.
Because like obviously your team wins the 4v3 then at Elder Dragon or whatever, when two people are matching you, or else they lose the game. But in a case where you're even against Set, both of you guys are not really much is happening. Set is really good at matching you because he's just like tanky, he's hard to kill. You're not going to be able to
Yeah.
probably just 1v1 him on side lane unless you're stomping lane early game, and you're not. It's just even. So at this point, you should already identify your team is bad late game, so you don't want to prolong the game. And then even if you do prolong the game, you're not going to win through your side laning because it's set. So for like those reasons, there's no reason that you
That's
want
true.
to just get the game to go super late.
Okay.
But
I
like
see
if
what
you
mean.
had like if this situation your team comp was like Vayne and Tristana or Vayne Orianna or whatever, and like their goal is just to get to late game, then your whole goal should just be constantly split pushing and pressuring the sides so that the enemy team can't like end the game, because your only goal is to get the game to go long enough for an Elder Dragon where maybe then you steal the Elder Dragon or steal the Baron or something and then possibly win off that. Because again, when the game is this like bad, you're down this much, you have to think in like more extreme cases of how you're going to win, because you're not going to win through the normal ways of just playing the game out. So
Yeah. I don't think I leave side lane until the turret is down.
which at this point in the game,
I remember.
I would just perma split push now. Like I would never go to team fights at this point pretty much. I mean like maybe actually, I don't know. So if Set just
If
keeps
I
staying
remember,
on side
yeah.
lane, then I would want to be wherever Set isn't, basically, because we're never going to win a 5v5. So if Set keeps being on side lane like he is now, I would shove the lane and try to leave. But if Set
Okay.
if Set rotated a team fight, I would
Rotates,
just split push.
yeah.
So because then you can get enough gold in yourself and maybe you can kill him on side lane after that. Also, I would buy Serpent's Fang this game, which is like really weird for Garen. But I might just do it because my only goal is to win the side lane 1v1, and Set, obviously his shield's huge, so that might help. I don't know though. Kind of a weird item buy.
No,
also
I
have a
didn't
Lux,
think
so.
of it. Right, yeah.
But you see how you're matching Set now, so you're not gaining anything. Like if you went bot, if you stayed bot here and Set rotated, you would get a turret, and then you might even get 2 turrets. Honestly, I think you probably would get 2 turrets, and you get a ton of gold. But instead, by the time you get there, they're already taking the dragon because you decided to go mid lane, and you didn't really have any like plan in mind. So
No, I mean, I was trying to stop the mid lane turret from going down, but honestly, at this point, it's
yeah, that
not
doesn't really
really
matter. No, I understand. I'm not saying you literally had no plan in mind. I just mean like, I guess yeah, this should have.
It
been
wasn't
good,
worth
but,
it. Basically, yeah.
Because again, yeah, you have to be okay with giving stuff up when you're losing. So like every play you make is going to be a trade for something when you're down. You can't just take things without them probably gaining more on the other side of the map. But that's kind of what you do here, which is good. Like here is when you should be split pushing. And honestly, your life doesn't matter anymore. So I would kill myself for this turret. Like it doesn't matter if you die at this point. I mean, obviously now he ults you, then I would run away. Like that's fine to run
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
But yeah, now also you should go top side because the objective's spawning. And when you're in this part of the game and you're losing so hard, you're not even losing that bad. I mean, like 6k gold is winnable. Maybe not with your scaling, but like you always want to be on the opposite side of the objective, because then if you draw 2 people to you, your team can pressure Baron or get Baron. But if you are here split pushing and you die in your split push, they're right at Baron, so they can just go straight to it. So it's a lot worse.
Right.
Also, you have Hullbreaker, and your team's going to be around the objective. Obviously, your Hullbreaker gets no value if you're with your team. So.
Yeah.
And yeah, like again, I would just back at this point. Like even if we won this fight, I would just back right now. I would go top. And at this point, our win condition is what I was saying, like where you just split push permanently and you hope you prolong the game, even though your team has bad scaling. Maybe the enemy team ints or whatever, and then. But again, you're going bot lane, so you're probably either going to get matched here, or if you do die on the side lane again, they're already on Baron. Also, you could probably 1v1 Lux at this point, so you'd also probably be able to kill this Lux, who for some reason is split pushing. I have no idea why, but. And then your team's on Baron too, so you're not gaining anything. At this point, you should go to Baron because your team's a Baron, but like you should be top side. But since you are bot side, you go Baron. But instead, you're just kind of sitting here. You're not really gaining much. And then they have already recalled by the time you're on this turret, so you might get the turret, but they'll probably kill you here. And if they do kill you, then they get Baron. Now maybe they just don't notice because kind of low, but. And then, yeah, they do notice, and I don't know if you'll die, but either way, it's not gonna be super worth.
No, I think I was pretty tilted at this point.
Yeah.
Kind of like,
But like this game is honestly 100% winnable. Like at this point, like look at your actual gold is 3k.
my Graves is actually doing good in hindsight. Now that I'm looking back.
Holy crap! No, Graves is also like mega scaling champ, so like he could 1v9 in the game. And if you're just side laning permanently and then Graves pops off by one-shotting someone in a fight one time, and then now just all it takes is one person on the enemy team instant your team. Now your team is in a 4v4, and then you're 1v0 on a turret. And then they have to decide between fighting a 4v4 against your really fed Graves or matching you on the side lane. And then if they match you on the side lane, your team's in a 4v3 and can pressure Baron. And I would just perma-ping Baron too. You have Graves, Draven, Caitlyn, like they will melt Baron. So I would just go top lane, permanently ping the Baron, but you see you keep going bot, and you're just like you're never on the opposite side of the objective, so that's the biggest issue. I mean, honestly, from the way that I watch you play, like, if I'm to recommend you champions, I would just say play Jax and Garen, because I mean, you can learn to team fight more, but it seems you just like to play split pushers. So if you want to play split pushers, like, I would just play Jax or Garen or any type of split pushing champion, but I don't know. But obviously, if you like Mundo, then play him. Just you're gonna have to learn to team fight more.
Yeah, actually, because I know Demolish does more damage based on your health, if I'm not mistaken. So I thought
I didn't know that. I mean, you might be right. I just didn't know that.
Well, that's what I heard. I never double checked it.
Yeah.
But because someone was like, "Oh, why don't you take Demolish on like Tristana or something?" And the response was, Demolish does more damage based on your health.
I mean, Demolish is fine on Tristana, but it depends on. I don't like playing it on 80 carry Tristana, but again, okay, here, like this is another scenario where if you were top side and they're doing this to you, you die and your team gets a free Baron. If you're bot side and they do this to you, they're very close to Baron already. Even though your team did get the Baron, it's way less likely than if you were just top side drawing them to you, for example. So, but yeah, the gold, I don't know how you were not down more gold. You're down 16 kills.
Let me see.
I mean, it's just Graves is actually like 1v9. Okay, like this game actually is just a free win for you guys because of how fed your Graves are if you're just playing side lanes properly, where you're always drawing the like, you should win this game. All you have to do is draw them to the opposite side of the map permanently, and your Graves will 1v9 every fight. Like, if you're just always on the opposite side of the objective, you should be winning, but you keep going towards
this one lane,
spawning, so. Like, honestly,
I don't know how my...
Go ahead, sorry.
Was that a bug? I don't know how my ult did 0 damage.
Hysterics popped.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll see him get big. It's Hysterics.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah, it was kind of weird looking though. But yeah, like I was coaching a Grandmaster player who's been Grandmaster for like 3, 4, 5, so like a very long time, a lot of seasons. He plays Jax and Garen, and all he did was split push, and that was what I was teaching him was like, you can't just be doing this every game. But he can do it every game to get to Grandmaster. Like if your goal is to, you could play this style, literally turn your brain off, permanently split push. If you got your laning good enough, and then you just always are on the opposite side of the objective, prolonging games like this, you could win like a lot of games, especially in low elo. They're going to forget about you, or they're not going to know how to deal with you, and you could just play this way and win a lot of games, because you should be able to win this game 100% at this point. Just from split pushing, they should never be able to kill you on a side lane, and then you should just be drawing multiple people to you, and then yeah, it should be pretty free. So
I don't know why I was so tunnel visioned, because now that I'm looking, like my Graves was at the Nexus, and I'm like pushing a bot wave.
You want to go back? I'm pretty sure it's fine for you to go bot here. Pretty sure you should go bot. Like he's when's he on Nexus? Like you're not even. You can't get there. You can't get to the Nexus.
So I'm fighting. I'm catching this here.
Yeah, no, this is fine because there's 2 people alive on the enemy team. You wouldn't really be able to. This is fine. But you should be pinging your Pyke to recoil or to retreat, which I think you do, because you want your Baron and your. Well, you don't have Baron anymore, do you? You have Baron still. No, you want your Hullbreaker just to be alone. So again, now
so I was
the
gonna
spawning, like you should just be pushing this bot wave, and as soon as they go Elder is when you like pressure the turret. Which is another thing is like you don't want to just be split pushing or you don't want to be pushing towards their turret just to push towards their turret. Use distractions for when you're actually going to decide to go to the turret. So keep these lanes pushing like you keep pushing them, but then wait here like you currently are doing right now, and wait for the objective to be at like 10 seconds until it spawns. And then when Elder is like 10 seconds until it spawns, now they have to choose between Elder and you, but instead you're going up this far and putting yourself in danger 35 seconds before the Elder Dragon. They are fine with matching you at 35 seconds because they have plenty of time to recall. And see, now like,
Yeah.
they're just pressuring you, you can't do anything. But if you're just waiting here, you're pushing the wave, so it's past your halfway point, but you're not going anywhere more than your halfway point on your map. And then you start pressuring further. Right about now is when you should start be pressuring. But if you weren't already showing, Xayah wouldn't be like here half the time.
Yeah.
Half the time they're just gonna go
Would've won.
because they're not very smart. But even if they do stay, it's fine because you don't want Xayah team fighting anyway, so you're fine with taking her out of the team fight. But like this is when you just walk forward. Yes, and then like now that they're here, you try to run away, which it looks like you do end up dying. But the thought process here, like what you did here, is pretty fine. Even though like drawing 2 people, a good team is doing Elder right now, and you should also be pinging it if you're not. But your team should already be on Elder and fighting it because there's 2 people here. So like this current decision that you made in this death you have is pretty much fine. Obviously, like ideally you have vision so you don't get caught out like that. But the thought process
Yeah.
is perfectly fine. That's what you should be doing in all these games. But again, it was way too obvious that you were there 35 seconds before.
Right.
So like a lot of times if you're just sitting in the bush or you're going for vision and you're going for other things so that you know like where if they'll come for you, and then you're just kind of sitting there and you're still pushing the wave because your hull breaker will push it naturally. So it's not like it's still going to be past the halfway point. Then yeah, like they won't know you're there half the time and you'll just get free turret, or if you do draw them right when the objective's spawning, that's also good.
So when you say past the halfway point, you mean like this corner here?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I mean, depending on the game and depending on if you have flash and if you have gargoyle or steric, what like if you have more ways to escape, you can be more greedy and go further up. Like if you're really fed, you know, or whatever, you want to draw more people to you, you can be more greedy of where you go, but roughly the halfway point at least, yeah.
Okay.
And so yeah, running top here is correct as well, which I don't know if like what's going through your mind is that you want to be on the opposite side of the objective, but that should be like you need
For the
to go.
first time, yeah.
Yeah.
The first time this game, I was like, all right, maybe I should.
Yeah. So like this should be your goal, and if you were doing this from the start, I would imagine you just win because your Graves is so fed, which is kind of insane. Like your Graves is 1v9. Also, you have 3 dragons, which should also be in your mind that like 3 dragons is huge. Like you guys are actually winning this game in terms of gold because of the fact you have 3 dragons. So. And then yeah, it sucks that your team ends here. Like that's just their fault. You're doing the correct play here because at this point in the game, it's fine to just be ignoring your team. You might have to back because they're gonna end because all your team is dead. So I think you have to back here.
I think I proc my. Actually, no.
Yeah.
Do I?
I think you're just gonna lose now. But they have. I mean, you would lose anyways. Like it doesn't really matter. Like it would be pretty lost regardless. But
Yeah.
now you're coming back, so this is fine.
Yeah.
And you have to kill yourself for the wave, by the way. You shouldn't be damaging them, just going for wave. See, you're spinning onto a person, you should be spinning onto the wave. Your only goal is to get the wave cleared. Yeah, you're damaging them. If you cleared this wave, you actually wouldn't lose right now. But you still don't lose, but it was much higher chance of losing because you didn't clear the wave.
Yeah, it would have been this.
But now you're gonna lose because they tripled, so unfortunate.
But yeah, I mean, pretty much.
Yeah, it's really just the initially, like if you want, you have to make a choice kind of based on how you play. You can either choose to learn to team fight, or you can just play Jax Garen and perma split. Either way is like fine enough. Again, I would still recommend trying to rotate when you like see these good opportunities. Like I told you earlier on in this game about actually needing to rotate in this situation, which is a rare one. But then later on in the games, when you are behind and you're just trying to prolong the game, like think about when you do want a game to prolong versus when you don't. And if your answer is that you do want the game to prolong, then keep split pushing on the opposite side of the objectives rather than going and like, you know, trying to go on the same side of Baron or whatever.
Right. I mean, I do enjoy the play style of
split pushing. Yeah.
I did have, well, I don't know, maybe it's because I won that last game with Mundo, so I kind of want to see if I can do
I mean,
it.
you can even play Mundo as a split pusher if you want. Like, he's not horrible at that. Like, if you want to just play Mundo and split push, I mean, you could. I mean, you can still, like, you can play a mix too. Like, you can team fight some games and split push others. It doesn't have to always be only one style. I'm just saying it'll be easier to, like, kind of learn if you're, like, really focused on one or the other, but...
Right here, I don't
Ideally,
really
you're
know.
able to identify, like, when you should and shouldn't.
I think I start heading over here because I see the objective spawning, but I don't really know where I should be. At least in game, I remember kind of just aimlessly kind of clearing minions
I
and
mean, this game is pretty over, but at this point, your goal is just to, again, stall the game so that you can hopefully steal an objective. So you should be pushing every wave out as far as you can get it. So I would go top here, I would clear the wave, I would go bot, I would clear the wave. Like, since your team's already going towards top, I would just go bot and clear it, but you're gonna lose at this point. There's nothing you can do.
yeah. So pretty sure we just kind of get overwhelmed by the induction and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's game. But
Yeah, and then also your trading in early game is another thing to keep in mind, because I mean every game is easy if your early game is good. So like you're trading with someone when your jungler's not near, and you're also not thinking about how you should trade with someone. You don't want to I don't know if he had Conqueror, but a lot of times that also has Conqueror, and then he already wants long trades to get his shield bigger, and then you're taking E to give him a better shield, and you're just basically making it easy for him to trade. You're trading how he wants to. You're not thinking about how your champion wants to trade. Like, you take short trades, and then you have second wind, and you have healing to just heal back up, and then, you know, you keep doing that, so.
no, I see what you mean. But this was helpful because
Yeah.
like even going back and reviewing it, I was like, we actually could have won. I think at that point I was so tilted that I kind of just already expected to lose.
Yeah, I mean, I would have expected to lose too. I was literally telling you that the game was basically unwinnable, but then you get to a point and it was actually like you guys were winning the game for like the last 10 minutes until the very end. You guys were literally winning this game, which is insane because you had a 1 in 13 Draven and everyone on your team was inting except Graves. So like that's crazy, but